Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Kingdom Vibes. And in today's episode, we're going to be delving deep into Genesis and into the beginning, okay, of God's
where it
word.
all started.
Yeah.
The beginning was not so.
Yeah.
All good. So we're here, your host again today. My name is Shola, and I'm with
Sylvester
And I'm Alicia.
yeah.
Thank you. So as Alicia said earlier on, we're talking about Genesis today. We read the book of Genesis, and let's just give a summary view of some things we read, some insights on what we saw. And we try to be dividing it or breaking down based on what we read. We might talk about the normal norms we had, based on some things, and we might also talk about some things that we also noticed that were not there also. So I shall be starting, followed by Sylvester, followed by myself.
Yes.
I'll also be sharing maybe in between.
thoughts.
Break it down among ourselves now. You get it? So Sylvester, I say Sylvester, Alicia, you have the floor.
Okay, so personally, I focused on Genesis 1 to 8, and I must say there is a lot of things that I learned, especially considering the fact that was like my first time actually reading Genesis and like really notifying some things or like seeing some exemplary things out of it. And I wrote a couple of verses and opinions. So in Genesis 1:27, God said, "So God created mankind in his own image." And obviously what we know from the creation story, we know on the first day God created light and darkness. We know everything he did from all of those days. And based on that verse, in my opinion, I feel like God is trying to say, okay, he made light and darkness, he made the sky and nature, he made the animals, he did everything. And remember when he said he has left those things so that we can have dominion over them. So he has put it into our hands to take care of it. Now, I'm not going to I want it to be something we can all relate to. God has said cleanliness is next to godliness. And this particular part of the Bible, if you look at it from a perspective of God was an architectural being. He was someone who, apart from creativity, because when you look at things around you, it's just like, this is actually really good. Like the way, because personally, I like taking pictures of the sunset and the skies and different things. And whenever I look at it, I'm always so at awe and amazed at how beautifully well God has constructed everything to be. Colors, the birds, everything. Like it's just so amazing how he's done that. And he has put it into our care to take good care of these things. So another Bible verse that I wanted us to look at was Genesis 1:28, and it said, "Fill the earth and subdue it, rule over every living creature." Basically, God is trying to say that we should reproduce, we should make new beings, we should make new things, like we should spread and dominate over every part of the world. And from my perspective, as Christians, obviously every day people are giving birth to children every single day, and it's as our responsibility that we try to spread the word to more and more people, because as God has said, we should subdue the world. We should also subdue it with light. We should try to spread lights all over the world, because the world generally is in darkness, and it's our responsibility to bring people into the light of God. So if there's anything you guys want to also comment on or add about that.
Okay. For me, so back to the beginning of how it all started, right?
Yeah.
So first thing I'll actually
Guys,
just
look at me.
okay, so first thing I'll actually want to look at is the story of how God formed the earth and everything, and to the beginning story of how he made man in his own image. Do you get? So first point I want to make is the fact that when God was creating the earth, right? Because I was reading it and then he said that he said, "Let us make man in our own image." And then I was like, and it got me thinking, I was like, our own image, like
What?
yes.
What is the hour?
Yeah, like who are the people that were there? And then that's to show that even at that time, there was still a need for him to like have conversation, hear opinion of I'll just use for example the angels that were
around
there,
us, yeah.
right? To get their opinion on how they feel this thing should go and how they feel this thing should be like. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
That brings us to the fact that there is always need for us to get opinion of people, especially loved ones.
There's need for collaboration.
Exactly.
I think the word collaboration matters the most.
Yeah.
So I won't say opinions of people. Opinions of people is good, but irrespective of the opinions of people, you're not being careful, you might lose the main point. You are the one that is creating things, but you creating things with the help of other people matters the most. Them putting the little finish just to it matters the most. The fact that it is God is the one. But he also wanted, and he wanted a situation where he carries people along.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at that perspective. He carries people along. So we had the angels that were working with him, people that were with him. Say that we're in the same way, we're all spirit beings. Let's create them in our image. So that means you look at it in the fact that if he's saying in our image, they are all like beings.
Yeah.
They all think alike. They all do things the same. So they understand when it was saying in our image. So we are saying let us create the way we all look like. So you
Yeah.
didn't just go and meet any other person and just say, can we create things the way we want it to be? No, in our image. So the image you're talking about was the image of the people that they were thinking that like they were doing things the same way. Do you get that picture?
So it's more like having like an opening ears than just like doing it your own way, not even looking at. Do you get what I'm trying? Okay, so that's okay. That's it. And another one is how that in the Bible says he got media and he said he looked at it and then said it was good. Do you get? And I think we're having a conversation about this, and then I was like, when God did made the earth, He didn't make it perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get? He said he looked at it and said they were all good. Do you get? And then I mean the questions of like I knew that it didn't make it perfect, but for me I didn't have like the perfect understanding. Do you get? So and then
no, come and had a conversation with you.
Yeah.
I'll be curious about this, so I think I understand your coming.
Yes. So and then like whilst having the conversation, I got to understand the fact that the reason why God did not make it perfect was because if He made the world perfect, there will be no reason for us to need God.
Yeah.
She gets that means we have everything all going like good for us, and then there will be no reason for that God touch. So and that God made us to dominate. So we were created in His own image. That means we inherited that. There's like an inheritance from Him in us. And it says that okay, we have that sense of creativity because He created the earth, and we are
inventive God, like
yes,
He invents things.
so we can create things, right? Another thing, I think I was having a conversation too, and then I was like, I was reading the part, and then there was this part in the Garden of Eden. I said there was like a kind of I can't describe the way the Bible describes it, but it's kind of like those sprinkler that used to sprinkle water.
Yeah.
Was in the Garden of Eden.
Oh.
Yes. I remember that part.
Yes.
That we're talking about.
Was in the Garden of Eden. But this is something that people see as innovative ideas of people's creations. Do you get what I'm trying to say? If someone could think about that, I don't know, probably some person saw it in the Bible, I don't know. But I feel like the person just thought of like, okay, how can we do something like this that can water the plants than us going there to water it by ourselves? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
Meanwhile, that was something that God already did.
Okay.
Okay, you want to say something?
Let's say something. So I think I want to correct that word. God made everything perfect. He made them good, as at how it's meant to be at that point in time. The God is an inventive God. He said the word was shapeless. So someone that invented it to be that way. Then he now created it to be a different shape. He separated the air. And remember that question I was telling you that God was not the first person to now reinvent something else again. That same Bible verse in that chapter 2.
Yeah.
I was saying that when God created Adam and Eve, He created them naked. They could move freely without no clothes or anything. After they ate the fruit of the tree of good and evil, and every time they saw they were naked,
Went
God
to.
was the first person that clothed them.
Mm.
He created a cloth line,
Mm.
and that cloth line started spreading from one person to the other. It starts now using different things. It was the type of mindset like this. Is we have the mind of Christ, we have the brain of God in us that we can use to create things, make things better.
Mm.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? When there was a when there was a TV the first time, it was black and white. Somebody invented it to be better. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So God has planned some things the way that He created man that you keep inventing things. Is is the brain of God. Let me put it like
Yeah.
that. I don't want to go deep in that. But if I just look at that the first set of chapters that we also read, so many things struck my mind that it really got me amazed in itself. I know I preached about in our 10th class, I preached about the whole multiplication, the difference between multiply, replenish. I can remember that when I thought about that, but I won't go into that. It's a topic, it's a big topic
Topic
on
on
its
his.
own. When the Bible talks about subdue,
Mm.
replenish. Can you remember that topic I talked about? I remember I talked
Yeah,
about
I
it then,
know.
but I'm not going to do that. But I'll look at some new things that really struck my mind. And the first thing I want to look at is the fact that when Eve, when she ate the fruit, she gave it to Adam to eat. It caused a big problem that they were banished out of the land. I ever thought about it. Why was it that Adam never said, "Ah, for this you do, I don't want a wife again. For this you did, we're no more couples. Go your way, let me go my way." When he chose to love her, irrespective of the mistakes she made that they made him make. And that's what we must start thinking about, is that the first couples, they had their own challenges. They had to leave comfort zone to go to a place where they had to now start chilling, but they were still together. So when you see marriages start crumbling or start separating because of the wife made an error, the man made an investment that crumbled or anything, the main goal is people will make mistakes. People will make errors in marriage caused by one person's character, one person's greed. But the major thing is that you must still stick together. That Adam and Eve stick together. And another thing that struck my mind again is the fact that with the story of Cain and Abel, when they went to give sacrifices, God was still talking to Cain and Abel.
Yeah.
There was a communication between God and them directly, Cain and Abel. Because God was still warning, what's his name? Was he warning Cain?
Okay.
That this thought that is in your mind, God will see what in his mind. Don't let it consume you. It says you something that is bad. God was still warning him before he went to kill his brother. So God had a direct communication with them. That means Adam and Eve, the fact that they were taken out of the place of Garden of Eden, they still trained their child to know God.
Mm.
For them to still be able to talk to
Careful.
God, how they communicate with God, that means they themselves as parents, they did not need the presence of God. They were still communing with God, they were still praying to God, they were still talking with God. The Garden of Eden did not separate them from God. Do you get what I'm saying? That means God was still communing with them and they were still communing with God. That means there's a way that God will not leave his own. If you say what the mistakes you make, you see from the same Bible verse. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Mm.
And Cain and Abel could still know God. That's why that they could communicate one on one with him. I think another thing that I also learned again, another thing I learned again from this whole chapter of a thing is the fact that um, um, God knows how He talks to His people. We look for the righteous of all to communicate with.
Mm.
So when even people start doing it, when God stopped talking to people and we got to the place of Noah, God could pick Noah because he was the most righteous of all. So how righteous are you? Determines how well God will talk to you. I think I'll stop there. So I
But
don't
I've
want to
got a
say more.
question, sorry.
Okay.
I don't have asked this question yet, but just for someone that's also wondering, because we teenagers, we are more curious about some certain things, especially when it has to do with beginning part, right? So, for how did you, like, the Bible talked about Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel?
Mhm.
How would you say the people, when we're talking about the story about Cain,
Mhm.
right? They said God put a mark upon him that
That nobody
whoever
was
killed
kills him
him.
will take the curse
So
upon his head.
exactly, how did those other people that want to kill him come about?
Okay, so you like it or not, when God said, "Let us make man in our own image," and Bible also mentioned it in that same book, in that same chapter one, said that He created them male and female. So Adam was the first thing they created, but they not mean that they were not also people that they created with, but they focus on Adam and Eve. That's one. Two, I keep saying some things. There were people that we call the fallen angels. When they fall to when they left them, when those that follow Lucifer and the likes, when they rebelled, they came to this earth, they were ruling over this earth. And when they came to this, they were also in the form of man to an extent.
Yeah.
They were
They were
deceiving men.
working with.
That's how sin entered them because of when their ways were not pure.
Mm.
So they were full of man. They were full of the angels, and even that they turned to man and they were deceiving man. How do you have you thought about it before that? From the place of God, just look at the trend. Adam and Eve, they were close to God. From Adam and Eve to the side of Cain and Abel, they were still close to God, even though Abel conceived an evil thing in his mind that God now punished him. God was still talking to him.
So
Because
there was
God was,
slightly a
I
line
keep saying,
drawn there
do you get what I'm
at
saying?
that point.
Somebody still married that same king that even still had,
Yes.
somebody still married that king that had a curse upon his head. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Mm.
To the place of not going to the place that God stopped talking to people again. And God now started picking individuals to talk to. He started picking someone like Noah to talk to, someone like Abraham to talk to. When God could talk to everybody before.
But
So
would you?
there were people
Sorry.
living that they were not, they do get, before you know that they mix themselves with evil. How come a whole city like Sodom and Gomorrah built up to become a sin city? How come a whole city, from where they come from, who lured them to do those things? Is it Adam and Eve? So it just shows that they were fallen angels, or they were angels that were being deceived. The devil too had his own people that he was also trying to, but they were not really, you cannot call them human because they're not created in God's image. We're from that lineage. All those fallen angels, they know where to find them, thrown into a particular place. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
They are agents that the devil is still using, yes. But were they really humans? No. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And I think I'll just picture it. I don't start going to theologians or into so many things, but in a simple man step up down that way. God created man, male and female. So he created beyond us Adam and Eve. But those were the first he created. The Bible now broke it down to how he created the first man, how he created the first female, but he created other people also too. And we're living there. We know, do you get what I'm saying? And we had fallen angels too, even among men. Do you get the picture?
Yeah.
Right. So let's move ahead. So the other part of, do you want to say something to
I have questions.
We just want to more than 30. Okay, let Alicia.
So I'm just quickly going to refer back to the beginning, just so that I can refer to Genesis chapter 2. So it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. In Genesis, from a lot of things we see, we realize that each time God created something, it was without, like when he created the animals, there was no name for them. There was no, I'm trying to refer this, like there was just, it was without void, like there was nothing added to it. And trying to refer this to like our daily lives is a lot of people are in darkness until they actually surrender their lives to God. A lot of people will remain in that position where they are in void, like everything about them is incomplete without God actually being with them. So theologically, this is like a little note I made. Theologically, the significance of Genesis is relating to how our beliefs is based on God, humanity, morality, and sin. If we look at the word of a moral absolute, we realize that everything that we're doing is because, whether people say they believe in God or not, everything we're doing it because we know that, okay, it's either morally right, it's not morally right, or like it's like, how do I say, it's divided into truth, or like something that is sin or something that is correct. I don't know if you, good and bad, like you get it. So when everything is without void, that's the way life is without God. There is no like
Shape.
you don't
There's no shape, there's no configure.
Yeah, so when people say that, there is no ruler or there's no God, like it's like you're thinking that if there's no governance over like this country, for example, there's no way everybody will know, okay, this is what we have to do. And that's why God said he has left us to dominate over these things, because he knows that the way he has architecturally structured everything to be, we should be able to take care of some certain things. And he has given us that ability and the capability to be able to do those things. So in Genesis 2, we start seeing how Adam and Eve start to turn away from God, and we're looking at the Garden of Eden and how the enemy comes to tempt them. And this particular part is something that I feel we can all relate to, because the serpent came as a snake. It came as a different form, because obviously God had already created the angel Lucifer, and he was in the form of an angel, but he came disguised. He didn't come as Lucifer. He didn't come as like his actual form as an angel. He came, even though God had banished him, obviously he came in the form of a snake. He came in the form of something else to deceive them. Because obviously, there's no way, because God always comes to the garden every evening to talk to Adam and Eve. He comes there to tell them about stuff. So there's no way God wouldn't have shared that part that, okay, Lucifer was an archangel in heaven. He came as a different disguise to come and deceive them. He didn't come. That's why the Bible says the devil has come to kill, to steal, and to destroy. And he has come like a serpent. He has come as a disguise to come and make people to turn away from God. So in Genesis 2:7, God said that then the Lord formed a man from dust, and God made the woman from the rib that he had taken out of the man. So basically, if God can make something from dust, and he's telling us that we are like him, that should let us know that when we say, let this thing be something, when we pray over this thing and say, let our legs be healed, we touch our body and we say, or we touch our books and say, I will get this thing in the name of God. We have that power and that capability to actually do it. And that's why he said we should have faith as small as a mustard seed, because if only you believe, if only you see you can do it. Because sometimes I'm like, God said he created us like him. What are you waiting for? What are you doing? If God can say that we are like him, and God can raise someone who is dead, and God can make us out of sand, then what's hindering us from actually? Because one thing the devil knows is we have that power. He knows that we have that power, and what he tries to do is derive us. Because honestly, at some point I was telling myself that, how is it that whenever I want to read the Bible, whenever I want to pray, that's when I'm feeling lazy? He knows that God has given us that power ahead of him. If we decide today that we want to decree and declare over about something with our mouth, the devil knows that we can do it, and all he can try to do is to stop and hinder us. So that's another, if you want to add anything, because Genesis 3 is when the devil comes to 2-3 is when he comes to with that his manipulative spirit, and that's when sin for the first time is being brought into this whole picture. So
yeah, okay.
How could you relate that to?
Okay, so I'll just say three things because of time. So the first one is about Adam being the covering, right? Because if you look at that part, Eve ate the apple, but the whole thing was not
manifested
after Adam ate the apple. The fruit's not apple.
I don't know what people always think is that.
It can be apple now.
You don't know if it's cherry.
Wait, have they even named the trees then at that time? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think Adam already did that now.
Yeah, he did that.
He did that.
He named the animals, named everything. Then don't also forget, God also gave man, in Genesis 29, man could only eat what was grown. Because we've come to the realization of that man cannot eat. Man was not allowed to eat meat or anything. They could not eat animals then. Yeah. So the first Adams were vegetarians. You can easily say that.
That's true. But yeah, also that should show how the man is like covering, right? And once anything affects the covering, then the other inner part is being endangered to threat and all that. Do you get? And then the second point the other one I wanted to say, it has to do with would I call that a point or a question? Right? Because I've always I think
let's start questions then. It helps us to build I like the inquisitive. I was once like that. I'm still like that too.
Yeah, I'm always like, wait, why is this thing happening? Like, would you? But yeah, let's not go there. But yeah, so like the question is, how that would you say the serpent
right?
Why is it me asking? Why not was Alicia?
No, because okay,
Let's
you know
have
in the
it. Let's have
Bible.
it. Let's have it. Oh yeah, now.
Okay, so you know in the Bible, God cursed the serpent, right? But would you say the serpent actually sinned because the serpent did not lie to Adam and Eve? Eve rather, because the serpent met with Eve.
Manipulated.
Manipulated. But the serpent told her what was going to happen. That okay,
It was a device.
but like he told them what was going to happen when they eat the fruit. That if they eat the fruit, they'll be able to know what is the difference between good and evil, which was actually true.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? So, but having to be cursed, like
Sylvester. Okay, now this is it. This is it.
yeah,
The serpent said the truth. Am I correct?
yes.
Yes. He told
The
them what's
truth
going
as
to
per
happen.
what?
What's going to happen when they eat the fruit?
Mm-hmm.
The serpent told them what was going to happen.
Yes,
when they-
now.
Oh yeah, but he lied
So
and
they-
manipulated
How
them.
did you like?
How? Yes, that's the question.
Cause he said that is trying to. Well, I don't think it's a lie. Cause he said the truth, but like he said it in a deceptive.
So where it became a sin, or I think what happened was fact that the serpent knew that they were not supposed to eat from that fruit.
Definitely.
Now, when you eat from that fruit, it becomes disobedient.
Said God doesn't want you to be like him.
So, irrespective of what's going to happen after, he said what's going to happen, but you cannot use one wrong to correct the right. Did God want them to eat from that fruit, from that tree of good or evil?
Definitely
No.
not, yes.
So when you eat from that fruit that God did not ask you to do, you are disobeying the instructions. Disobedience is a what? Is a sin. So he led them to disobey. Do you guys want to say? He led them to disobey.
And another thing
He was being tricky, he was not being straightforward. He lured them to sin. However, I think that will take you from sin, cut it off. So he was the one that lured them to that sin because he knew what he was doing was being manipulative. So I can categorize that even though when you're a manipulative person, you are a sinner. Because you are telling people to do something that you know that they ask you get. Telling people to do what they are not allowed to do.
But you know there are people that I'm not justifying anything.
They are marketers.
Yeah, no, there are people that they know how to convince you to do something, like, but they are not manipulating you. There are people that have sweet mouths. Permit me to use that word. That if they tell you that. There are people, I've seen a lot of people like that. That you can having a conversation with you, but you don't want to. Let's say, for example, you're having a conversation about about having a car or something, but then because of the fact that you've engaged them with that conversation, they very trap you. You just end up using your life savings to buy a car that you don't want to end up buying.
Okay, do you mind if I say something?
Sure.
When you are convincing someone to do something, number one, what's your intentions behind convincing them to do that thing? Because definitely the devil knew what he was.
He had an intention.
Yeah. And another thing is, when you're trying to convince someone, apart from what your intention is about that thing, where are you driving at? What is your end goal? What are you trying to achieve after making them do that thing? Another thing too is when you have convinced them, okay, I said that I don't want to do it, and you are repeat that has started become manipulation, because I've said that, okay, you've told me I am selling something, please buy. You said it's the second time, and I'm like, I don't have the money right now. I'm not ready to. I can't afford this thing at this moment. And you keep on insisting over and over. At that point, you're already, or you're saying, okay, the quality is very good. This is that. You enjoy it. At that point, you're already. How do I put it? You're already erupting something else. That because the moment you keep insisting over and over and over again, then from there you begin to know. So people like that, it's very easy to spot that they are being manipulative and they are trying to convince you in a way so you can do something that they want you to do, and not exactly because you want to do it at that time. So
in other words, is this saying being manipulated is a sin?
Definitely now.
It depends on what, like I said, the intention, the intention of the intention behind it matters. I can manipulate you to becoming a Christian. Like that.
No, you can convince me. Manipulation
Thank
is
you.
not.
Manipulation is not a good word. I'm not trying to just like that. So I'm not trying to just like that. The funniest thing is that even though for our Christendom, it's not our job to convert people to Christian. Our job is to preach the gospel. It's the Holy Spirit that does the whole conviction. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But when you are manipulating is not it's not a positive word. If you can't look at it, it's not as a negative word. You're being manipulated, you're being deceitful. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Conniving towards drawing someone
some away from what he's doing that is good or something. And that's what he did. Okay, so Genesis is a very long Bible verse, a very long one. So we're going to be breaking it down into different episodes. So we'll be coming back shortly again. We'll still be continuing with us, but because of the video length, we'll be coming back shortly to continue. Thank you.
Yeah, watch out for episode
2
on Genesis.
Genesis.
Yeah. All right. See you on our next video.
And
Don't forget
to subscribe and like all of our social media platforms.
Yes, on YouTube. Yeah,
Instagram.
Instagram, TikTok, Spotify.
Yeah,
So,
Spotify.
Yeah. So don't
You
forget.
can listen to it as you're on the bus, okay? You don't have to watch it.
Yeah. So you heard our first lady. So So like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to subscribe. I mean, the button doesn't bite. So
it doesn't bite. This is those of my Bible, like baby, I sleep I'm Louis. It doesn't bite. Click on it.
Just click that.
I love that guy. Thank you, everybody. Don't worry, we're still here. We're here. We're still here. Going to still talk on it. So, but because of we want to break it down, we want to rush all our words and don't put it in one video. Yeah. That's why we're cutting this up to continue soon.
Yeah. So like we always say, we don't stop till
we're tired. We only stop when we are done.
Yeah. Have a good day, guys.
Peace out.